Hello, everyone. My guest today is Francois Gauillet. He's the founder and CEO of a company called Amelia, one of Quebec's fastest growing tech companies. They provide the first activity based e commerce SaaS solutions for organizations all over North America. And he's made it his mission to help his administrators streamline their day to day tasks to allow them to focus on growth and prosperity. Francois, you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so it sounds like you're playing in the very hot e commerce space. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Timing couldn't be better. 10 years ago, I started a company with a vision that I needed to bring e-commerce to activity-based organization. In my mind, it made no sense. I could not find and buy a swim class at the corner of the street and can get everything shipped to my door from Amazon. So I said to myself, the market is going to be no different for those swim organization or soccer organization or YMCA. They will go through the same thing as retailer went. People will expect to buy from those organizations like they buy from Amazon. And that's the bet I made 10 years ago. Problem is that it's much more difficult to build an e-commerce platform for those organizations than it is to do it for traditional e-commerce.
Can you name some of your customers?
So we have a couple of towns in the U.S., Grapevine, we're in Tom Ferry in Colorado. We have, it's a huge market, fragmented market of a very small organization because they're very local. Mm-hmm. So I do have varsity cheerleading club in the U.S.
So Francois, tell us about that. How's the varsity cheerleading club that has no engineers use your no-code solution for their team?
Well, it's very simple. It's a pure SaaS multi-tenant platform. Very easy to use, like any other software out there. Right now, you can go online and get a lot of SaaS application, and you don't need to be a technical person to run it. So what we do is the similar thing as think Shopify, but for an activity, which is much more complex than
Shopify for what? Oh, an activity. Activities.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're a cheerleading club, so your business is selling a cheerleading class, maybe for girls of 8 years old, level 1. And right now, the only way you're selling it's through either you have to show up in person, you need to fill in a form at the counter, or you do it over the phone. And if they're really, really sophisticated, there might be a form on their website with some payment attached to it.
Yep.
Okay? So we take that market of activity that is not visible because it tends to be very small, but everybody participates in the community. You're probably doing activities. It's either participating in sport, taking enrichment class. You're doing a bunch of stuff in your community.
Yeah, so I understand the product now, Francois. Help me understand how people pay you. What does the average customer pay you per month?
It's a transactional business model. So it's driven by the transaction. Most of those organizations tend to be season-based. So they will have a couple of registration period during the year. So the platform is split into product. One is Amelia, which is the club, the organization, the software. Typically, they pay me $99 per month, 1% of every transaction, plus 3% of credit card. So most of the money I made is transactional. Typically, I generate about $10,000 a year with a club, but it goes through peaks. So it could be $99 registration period. They give me $3,000. So it's aligned with their capacity to pay, meaning they collect money, and that's where I make most of the money.
I understand. Okay? And over the past 12 months, how much GMV has gone through your platform?
Well, unfortunately, with the COVID, it's probably around 200 million, but on the run rate of 350 million. So it adds vary a lot, but we're at a run rate of 250 million across 1,000 organizations. And just to give you the number of potential organizations in the US, it's 500,000. There's 500,000 of park and rec, GCC, YMC, community center, gymnastic, cheer, dance. We've built something very generic, horizontal, generic e-commerce platform.
So Francois, sorry, just to make sure I understand this, you've got 1,000 customers that have processed over $350 million of GMV, or at least that's your run rate, but around 300 million this year in 2020. On that, just that GMV, you take 1%. So there's 3.5 million in revenue right there, correct?
Absolutely.
And what
Plus
was that
payment.
last year in 2019?
Well, 2019, okay. So 2019, we did around 7 million of revenue.
Okay.
This year, we were on a run rate of 12, but because of COVID, we'll be around 8.
Okay.
So we're grown historically 30 to 40%.
Yeah.
COVID,
What was the GMV though last year? So this year you did 300 million. How much last year?
it's probably 250.
250 million in GMV. Okay, interesting. So yeah, so you really don't make a lot of money on the flat fees. You're really making most of your money on the percent subscribe, transaction
80%. 80% of my business is transaction, except when I move on the other side of the second product, which is the Smart Rec product. This is for park and rec organization. Because they're big golf tech, they don't like variable and they are capable of paying. So that's more traditional subscription side of the business. We convert it into a monthly. So let's say a park and rec does $1 million a year. We'll say, okay, that's 10,000. The 1% is 10,000 plus another $1,000 a month because you're a large organization. That's 22,000 a year. That's
Francois, just to be clear, so last year in 2019, if you did $250 million in GMV at your 1% take rate, that's 2.5 million in revenue there out of your total 7 million in revenue. So there's still 4.5 million coming from just the subscription business itself, correct?
And the payment side. You're missing the payment side.
Tell me about that.
So because our world is a very complex payment, it needs complex payment. Traditional e-commerce, it's simple. It's a credit card at the checkout, you're done. In my world, there's a lot of installment, subscription. There's even pay me later, pay me at the counter. There's a bunch of, so we've built Amelia on top of an Amelia payment platform. So it's deeply integrated into the platform. 1/3 of my revenue comes from payment.
I see. Okay. So it's about 2.5 million from the GMV model, 3 million from payments, and the rest is pure SaaS?
Yeah, something around that.
Interesting. How do you bill for the payments? Is that business? Is that a flat rate?
The payment is really transactional also. So basically, a typical customer comes to Amelia, they buy the platform, and then we tell them to do a credit card, it's 2.85 plus 30 cents. Mm-hmm. And we bill them we front everything. We have a payment processor partner in the back where we pay a bulk rate. So it's very similar to a Shopify payment.
I see. Interesting.
So we make it very, very simple for those organizations to become an e-commerce merchant, start selling their activity online, collect payment, and that's
great. Now, have you done all this bootstrapped, or did you raise capital?
It's bootstrapped from my money and my friends. So over 10 years, we've burned 12 million Canadian over 10 years from me and my friends. Mostly to build the technology, because this is very important. We went at it from a horizontal play. So if you look at my market, it's highly local. Right? It's a swim club. It's a YMCA. It's a language school. So I wanted to be able to serve the community, not only a vertical, not just do gymnastic or cheerleading or dance. I wanted to do generic platforms. So along those 10 years, this is what I've demonstrated, my ability to have a bunch of different organizations running on my platform. And it's feasible because an activity is generic. A class is a class.
Yep. Francois, back in 2010, when you founded the company, do you remember how much revenue you did that first year?
Probably 100,000.
100,000. Okay. How did you get your first customers? Do you remember?
We got our first customer with a couple of really big sports center here that were really looking to
in Montreal.
In Montreal, yeah. So the first 5 years,
personally or something.
Yeah, exactly. So the first 5 years was about building it, improving it in Montreal. Then we started in Canada, and we're in the US for the last 3 years. But mostly, you've not invested a lot of money in sales and marketing.
How much did you invest in the technology before your first dollar of revenue? Do you remember?
Not much.
Under $100,000?
Yeah, not much.
Okay.
We were able to, because of that, to start the business slowly but surely.
Yeah,
it's a forgotten market. It's a very slow technology adoption market. There's no company funded in that space.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going after them. So
Yep.
it was possible to build that over 10 years because nobody's going after it. Funny thing now is that people are realizing there's a lot of money. There's probably $500 billion spent on activity in the US,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
nobody is taking care of that market. So
Now, to
we're
take advantage of that market, Francois, what's your team size look like today? How many people
85,
and how many engineers?
35,
30, wow. Okay. How many quota carrying sales reps?
3.
Three. Okay. Interesting. How do you set their quota?
It's kind of new.
Okay.
It's kind of new. So because we've got a outbound team going after the park and rec organization, and we've got an inbound team selling to dance studio and after school program and stuff that it's inbound generated. So we're really at that stage now. We've proven our product market fit across 20 plus vertical. Now we're at a stage. Okay, let's get that market.
Yeah.
So I'll be in the market in 2021, raising significant amount of money to just my metrics are crazy. So on the Emilia side,
how much do you hope to raise next year?
20 million.
On what valuation?
No clue.
What's your guess? 100 million?
100 million plus.
Yep.
To just give you an example, on the Emilia product, lifetime value to CAC is around 6 times. On my SmartRec product,
well, break that down for me real quick. What is churn?
On the Emilia, churn is less than 8% logo-wise. Yeah. And it's there's the built-in net dollar churn in it because my model is transactional.
Yep.
My customer every year does more activity. They increase their revenue. Typically, an organization, when they put in Emilia, they increase their revenue by 20%.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay? And on the SmartRec product, less than 1%. There's no churn in my business, which is make it very interesting.
Yep. Well, you're able to drive expansion revenue, right? Because you just get them to bill more through you and you make money on the transaction.
Absolutely. So it's built in my business model.
Yeah.
That being said, we can expend more revenue, but that's where focus is at acquisition.
Yeah. So what do you spend to get a new customer that pays you $10,000 a year?
$8,000.
Okay, so 8-month payback, or 7-month payback.
Well, you've got the 10,000 is gross because the payment side. So think about it. I make about 55 to 60 net overall. Okay. 80% on software, 32% on growth. So think about 10,000. I make
6 month payback.
No more, a bit longer than that because I look at it after my gross revenue.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it. But so what is your payback period? How many months would you say?
On the Emilia side, 14.
Okay.
On the SmartRec side, 16.
This is great. Very cool.
But there's no churn.
That's great. Well, hey, listen, you're building a great business. You're in this, what I call the SaaS plus space, multiple business models all working together. You're getting the benefits of that. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite business book.
Favorite business book. Oh, you catch me right there. I'm not a big reader of business book. The last one I read is "The Future is Closer Than You Think." It could be seen as a business book or not.
Of course, that's a good one. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
No. This is kind of weird.
It's no problem. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building the business?
Well, probably Slack because it's the way we connect and have a lot of fun in the company.
And Francois, number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I'm a good sleeper. I sleep at 8.
Okay,
and I sleep very well.
And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Divorced, but almost remarried.
Okay.
2 kids of mine, and 2 from my.
And how old are you?
Wife now. 53.
53. Last question. What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
That I can be an entrepreneur, because I never thought I could be an entrepreneur. I used to be a VC, and I come from a traditional family where entrepreneurship was that they're all teacher. So I went to school, did my master in finance, became a CFA, started to work in a big pension fund, become a VC. Life was good, made a bit of money. And then something happened with my partners. They get rid of me. And I said, what? Well, I'm not, I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs. I'm not dumber than them. So I'll build something. Turns out I like it a lot. So I'd love to have started to be an entrepreneur sooner in my life.
Guys, there you have it. Amelia.com launched in 2010. They help folks that do events handle things like setting up the pages, the websites, the billing, the processing, you name it. They help with it. They are what I call SaaS Plus. They make money on a pure SaaS business. They did 1.5 million over the past 12 months, pure SaaS. They have a payments business. They did 3 million on, and they have a GMV business. They processed over $350 million of GMV over the past 12 months, making about 3.5 million there. Total revenue this year in 2020, about $8 million, up from 7 million last year. Francois, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And I love what you're doing.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that